Next, from Springfield, we talk with Mark Grant of the National Federation of Independent Businesses of Illinois and hear what concerns the small business community has with the implementation of the President's healthcare law. This runs about 10 minutes.
Mark Grant with the NFIB of Illinois. Thanks for joining us on the Illinois channel. And we wanted to just briefly remind people of some of the deadlines that are coming up relative to the enactment of the President's health care plan, alternatively referred to as the Affordable Health Care Act, or probably most commonly as Obamacare. Before we get into some of the specifics of what deadlines are going to be impacting people, your organization represents a lot of small businesses across the state. What, if anything, are you hearing from your members about the enactment and to what effect that is having on their businesses?
Thanks for having us, Terry. I appreciate it. Yeah, our members are really concerned about what's happening, what's coming down the pike. They've been concerned about costs for health care for decades now, and this bill hasn't done anything, this law hasn't done anything to really improve their situation. As you probably know, most small businesses buy their insurance off the open market. They're not self-insured like the large corporations are and the multinationals and the large labor unions who can do self-insure. So they have to go out on the marketplace and pay the price. And they've seen their premiums increasing every year over year for several years, and but what they're seeing now are enormous increases in their premiums, and they're really concerned about what's going to happen because nothing's really changed for them in terms of they still have the same things happening with their employees. They're trying to provide health care for 10, 12, 15, 30, whatever number they have, and they're running into some real problems. Their premiums are going up anywhere from 50 to 90% in some cases. We meet with our members on a regular basis at their businesses, and we bring them together for roundtables, and we sit down with our elected officials and talk to them about what they're seeing and what they're feeling. And to every person who owns a business who's been in our meetings, they're all concerned about what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter if they happen to be a larger small business, like one who employs 50 or more people, they're still very concerned about what's going to happen. And recently at a meeting, one of our members talked about a 98% increase in his premiums. He's a small contractor, always provided health insurance for his employees and their families. And he's at a point where he can't afford it anymore. And that isn't strictly from the insurance company's point of view. I mean, it's not them just necessarily doing that. It has to do with the overriding costs that are going up for everyone that's going on right now.
Now, we've all heard that if you have over 50 employees, you're going to have the coverage. And I think some people thought that maybe if you had under 50 employees that you wouldn't be impacted. But you're saying your smaller members, which maybe that's the vast majority of your members have under 50 employees, but they're also being impacted by the healthcare costs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, our average employee size for our businesses is about 10 employees, so they're all impacted. Those that provide health care insurance now, if they don't provide it, they're really not impacted. And those that are under 50 will not have to provide it if they don't want to. And I think many of them are going to take that avenue, even though they want to have a benefit for their employees. They're just going to throw up their hands and say, folks, you're going to have to go to the exchanges and get your insurance there, and maybe they'll help provide some kind of salary adjustment or some kind of payment so that the employee can better afford it. But that's probably you're going to see that happen because costs are rising. Right now, the costs are rising. In 2014, the costs are going to rise even more because that's when the health insurance tax kicks in. And that's a tax and fee system set up in Obamacare that, again, will affect these businesses that buy their insurance on the open market. The tax and fee was put in place on insurance companies, but they're going to pass that along to the folks who purchase the insurance, and that's mostly small businesses and individuals out in the marketplace.
When you talk to your members and they say their costs are going up, and you mentioned a 98% in one case, what are your members saying? What impact will these rising healthcare costs have on their ability to maintain business, their ability to hire new people? What are they telling you?
Well, certainly, that's a good question. Certainly what they're finding is that they're not going to be able to afford it. And many have already told employees, because of the increase in premiums, that they have choices. The employees have choices. Either the employer will continue to provide health care coverage, or they won't get increases in salaries. They won't be able to give them any bumps or any bonuses or anything else throughout the year. So it's kind of a choice. Do you want health care coverage, or would you like an increase in your salary or your wages? So that's happening. And I think the other thing is that, again, a lot of the employers, especially small ones, are just simply saying, I can't afford it anymore. You're going to have to go out in the open marketplace and buy your insurance. I'll help pay for it, because they want them to have health care insurance. They need them to be healthy employees, and they want them to be healthy employees. They don't want them out there trying to figure out how they're going to pay for a broken arm if they happen to get it or whatever.
Illinois, now we're here in Springfield, and we're surrounded by Republican members of the Illinois congressional delegation, but you cover the entire state, and so I would think you're also dealing with Democratic members of the Illinois congressional delegation. When you talk to either Republicans or Democrats, what kind of feedback do you get from those members of Congress? Are they aware of your concerns? Do they tell you that they're hearing concerns from their own constituents relative to what's going to happen vis-a-vis employment, vis-a-vis the ability of those businesses to maintain operations, or whether they're going to have to close down?
We are hearing it from both sides. It's been a limited number of congressional folks that we've had a chance to talk to, but what we have found in almost every case where we have small business owners in there talking with them, they're all voicing their concerns. So no matter what party the congressperson is from, they're hearing the same things. Now, they may have a different take on it when they go back to D.C., but I think that everyone out there, all the lawmakers out there, know that there's some real issues that have to be fixed with the current law, and that they're looking to try to find ways to, if not repeal, at least reform what's going on. And we've had some reforms, but there needs to be more.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.